Welcome. Thanks for being here with me live. Thanks for being a part of my community. I'm excited to be here with you today. This has been a very intense week for me, for my team, for a lot of the people around me. We had some personnel changes on our team. We had a launch this week. We put our momentum planning system out again this week, which I'm so proud of and so excited about. We have now dozens of new people using the Momentum Planner and more signing up every day. So that's been crazy exciting. And my wife and I are about to take our two daughters and head down to San Antonio and go spend some time on vacation and have some fun. So, but I wanted to jump in and do my weekly Facebook Live first here in my community on the YouTube page, all the places this Facebook Live goes. Hey, Priscilla and Rachel, thank you so much for being here. Today this broadcast is all about one simple subject: to-do lists, and how you can keep your to-do list from becoming a to-die list. So let me tell you, and in explaining this, I want to tell you a little bit about my story, my personal story. So, as a kid, I was one of those people who was challenged to be productive. Does this resonate with you? I was one of those people that had a hard time in school. I had a hard time getting things done. Honestly, I had a hard time getting out of the house in the morning. It was very difficult for me to kind of put things together, to get things done, to get things going forward. And so I started using process and structure and routine young. Before I knew what it was, I was fighting process, structure, and routine, but I was using it at the same time. And as a kid, I started with a morning routine, and then I started using a to-do list. And I remember the rudimentary list that I used way back when I was a kid was in one of those composition notebooks. I would write a list and then I would check things off and I would add things to the bottom of the list. And that's where my first feeling of to-do list being a to-die list came in, because I had this never-ending growing list. And I'll let you in on the joke. Here's why I call to-do list to-die list, because if you're an entrepreneur like me, then there's stuff on your to-do list right now that's been carried over so many days, day after day, day after day, day after day. It's going to be there when you die. And I started getting that feeling when I was really young. And I just kept using to-do lists. Like, I didn't fix that. I kept using them as a way to be productive. And then I started looking at planning systems. I wanted to get a system that would help me get organized. And when I go out to find a solution for something, I'm one of those people that goes all in. Like, I want to find a planning system. So I tried everything. I tried thank you for the confirmation that I'm not the only one with a to-die list, but I tried the day timer system. I tried the RPM system from Tony Robbins that was around back then. I tried the Franklin Day Planner. I tried so many different planning systems. And here's what happened with almost all of them. There was a level of complication and frustration that made it so that I just ended up using them like a to-do list. So I would, get these new planning systems that were supposed to get me out of this never ending to do, start creating new outcomes, start creating more progress in my life. And I would just end up using them again as to-do lists, especially the Franklin Planner. Now, that was the one that I stuck with the longest. Any other Franklin survivors out there? I only joke about being a Franklin survivor. Here's why I say that. It took me probably about 6 or 7 years to realize what was happening with all of these non-future based planning systems, all of these systems that were right here in the moment helping me achieve. What they were also doing is keeping me in a very tight execution loop. I was just getting what I needed to get done. I wasn't making a ton of forward progress. I wasn't really getting out there and making things happen. And it took me forever to figure this out. In fact, I was buying Franklin planners for most of my team when I finally realized that they were somewhat destructive. And I hate to say that, to speak ill of another company, because I think the Franklin Planner is actually amazing for everybody but entrepreneurs. I think the entrepreneurial personality type needs something new, and the entrepreneurial personality type needs something different. And we need to be able to have a planning system and an execution system, a to-do list system that does the following. As entrepreneurs, we get up every morning, we go into the future, we create a new reality, we come back to the present, we demand it becomes real. And we need a planning system that goes right there with us into the future, create a new reality, come back to the present, and make sure everything you're doing on a daily basis is getting you to that greater reality. Now, this is why this is so important. If you're an entrepreneur, then you know what it feels like when you are not connected to that reality in the future, or maybe you don't. Let me share some of the symptoms with you. See, if you are just in a present, in the moment tactical execution loop that's not tied to the future, as an entrepreneur, here's what you might find. You might find yourself procrastinating. You might find yourself not doing the things you know you need to get done. You might find yourself not doing as much as you know you can. You might find yourself with that to-die list getting longer and longer and longer, and the accomplishments getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and you might find it harder and harder to get things done. This is what was happening to me. I was beating myself up for procrastination. I was beating myself up for not getting things done. I was beating myself up for this never-ending tactical list of things that were growing. And here's what was really going on for me. I wrote some notes down here. See, the to-do list wasn't enough. The reason that I was procrastinating, the reason I wasn't getting the right things done, the reason I had so many things on my to-do list that weren't being accomplished is that there was no intention behind them. There was no bigger meaning behind them. There was no reason why I was getting them done other than I just slapped them down on a sheet of paper. And the reality was, the more I procrastinated, the more I didn't get things done, the less of a connection I had to that future I was trying to create. Does this resonate? See, as an entrepreneur, when we can clarify that future and we can see it and it's crystallized, and then we create a plan so that we know everything we're doing on a day-to-day basis is like a slingshot sending us towards that future, we will get things accomplished. We will get things done. We're in momentum. We will make things happen. In fact, I thought back through periods of my life when I was in momentum, when I was excited about what I was doing, when I was making things happen, when the world was following in my wake, when I was like bending reality around me. And what I remembered was I had a clear connection to the future. I knew my plan. I had a clear outcome. I knew where I was going. I understood with perspective where I was, so I knew whether I was making progress or not, and I knew what my role was. And the planning systems I was using, rather than create that condition for that feeling of momentum and knocking things down and bending reality around yourself, they created the condition of just getting things done in the day. They created the condition of just tactically executing. And it just wasn't enough for me. And if you've ever felt those symptoms of procrastination or hesitation or not getting things done and you've beaten yourself up a little bit, then maybe the system you have isn't for you. Maybe you're beating yourself up because in some way you're being protective about not getting things done. In some way, not getting things done is you not wasting your time because you don't have that connection to where it's really going. See, normal people, they can just execute, but entrepreneurs, we need to have a motivation behind it. We need to feel it. You know, I remember when I was younger, adults saying things like pay attention, and it would be so hard for me to understand because when I cared about something, I didn't have to pay anything. I just could absorb it like crazy. I was into it. I was engulfed in it. I wanted as much as I could possibly get. And when I didn't care about something, like algebra, I couldn't freaking understand it for the life of me. I thought about algebra so much I had to take the class twice, just like Albert Einstein. But that's why it was so frustrating for me when I was younger that you know, if it wasn't connected for me, then I didn't want to do it. And so as adults, as entrepreneurs, as people who are out trying to change the world and make things happen and create a new future, what we have to ensure is that we know what we're doing on a daily basis is going to get us to our long-term outcomes. And that is why a to-do list actually gets you stuck. If all you're using is a to-do list without creating a strategic plan for where you're going, without having those to-dos come off of a greater plan that is getting you to your long-term outcome, you will continuously find yourself stuck. You'll continuously find yourself not doing as much as you should do, feeling that feeling of procrastination, feeling that slowdown, that letdown, not making things happen. I want to reverse this for you. And the way that this works, the way that you fight having a to-die list, the way that you make it so that your to-do list is not your to-die list. Instead, the way that you make it so that your to-do list gets accomplished and feels easy and feels automatic is you make it so that it's not a to-die list. So number one, first thing you need to do is create a strategic plan for yourself, to know where you're going, to have clarity on where you're going. Here's what I know about you as an entrepreneur. Test this, like feel this. Don't just hear this. See if what I'm saying is true. When you know where you're going and you're excited about the outcomes and you know what's going to happen, you will take the accelerator pedal, mash it to the floor, and leave it there until you get to where you're going. Am I right? If you're not mashing the accelerator pedal to the floor, here's what I know about us as entrepreneurs. We slow down, procrastinate, don't move forward when we don't have clarity around what we're doing each day, connecting us to our greater outcomes and goals. And so when you have a strategic plan for your future, then your to-do list becomes nominal, becomes easy. It becomes something that just happens so that you can move forward. And the way that you fight a to-do list is to make sure that there's an intention behind everything you do, because your to-do list will become a to-die list when you're just checking boxes. But when the boxes you're checking are going to help people around you, when the boxes you're checking are going to grow your business, when the boxes you're checking are going to make things happen for people you care about, then the world gets easier. We get into momentum. We start getting through tactical things like a knife through butter, and we make things happen. We create the reality we want to create. And so if you're an entrepreneur who's felt like you're procrastinating or you're stuck or you're not doing as much as you could and you're using some type of a to-do list process, here's the easy way to elevate yourself above this. One, create a strategic plan so you know where you're going. When you have confidence in that plan, you will be in momentum, you will execute more than you ever thought possible, and you will go out and get the results you want. You'll create the results you want. You will manifest the results you want in this world. Two, if you're in that place where the to-do list has degraded, tie it into your future. You have a strategic plan. Now make sure that that to-do list is everything you're doing is tying into your future. You can see it happening. It's part of something bigger. Here's a reality for us as entrepreneurs. When we feel tactical pressure in the moment, when it's all about the moment, when it's all about the long to-do list, we're overwhelmed. But when we feel pressure for the future, when we feel strategic pressure to make an outcome happen in the world, to change the world, to make our dent in the universe, the tactics around us are accomplished with ease. It's like our entire perception of what's going on changes. And if you're in that place where your to-do list has become a to-die list, this is how you walk yourself out of it. Now, this is something that we help people do, and I would love to be able to help you. In fact, the Momentum Planner system that I was talking about earlier is not just a physical planner. It is that. And it is the best physical planner on the market for entrepreneurs, in my opinion. And it is the only physical planner that was created specifically and exclusively for the entrepreneurial personality type. When you look at this planner, it's not like most of them out there, has big whiteboard spaces on it. And it even has a place where on a daily basis, you create your intention as to exactly what you're going to do. And when you have the following every morning in your planning, when you connect to your greater plan, when you verify with intention, everything you're doing that day is leading you to where you want to go, and you sit down and you plan your day with intention, you will achieve and accomplish and move forward in a way that you may never have felt was possible. Don't let yourself get stuck with a to-die list, and don't let yourself get stuck for years like I did in that tactical execution loop where you're just getting things done on a daily basis without looking up and saying, where am I going and does it matter? Because when you finally do, ask yourself, where am I going? And you get really clear on the future you want to have in your life, you will magnetically attract the energy, the people, the things, the knowledge, the information you need to go out and create that future. A lot of people these days talk about the power of attraction and manifestation. The reality is, the more clear the destination, the more powerful the attraction and the more powerful the manifestation. I want to help you get there. This is like manifestation on steroids. So let go of the procrastination and the challenges and the issues you've had with getting things done, and instead hook into that greater future. Your to-do list will become easy. It'll stop being a to-die list, and you will go out and make the change you want to see in the world. I appreciate you being here with me today. It's been awesome sharing with all of you, and for Rachel and Hayden and Majid. Dude, Majid, thanks for being here. For Alexander, for everybody who was here, thank you for being here. And if you're interested in checking out the Momentum Planner system, we just relaunched it 2 days ago. We keep running out of inventory and having a hard time relaunching this. You can go to sharfen.com/MPS, like Momentum Planner System, and check it out. It's on an incredible deal right now, and I'd love to have you in it. And again, Rachel, Tuka, Coach Maxwell, Christian, all of you, so awesome seeing you here today. Thanks for being part of this broadcast, and I'll see you again next week, or keep an eye out. I'm going live a lot more often these days. I've had like some exciting stuff happen to me. The world's kind of shifting around us, and I'm feeling a lot more connected to the people that I work with and to the people that I serve. So don't be afraid to watch my Facebook page just to make sure if I'm going live there, and follow me on Instagram at Alex Sharfin. I've been doing a lot more Facebook stories today. So I'd love to hear, not today, just in general, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see you there. Thanks for being on this broadcast and supporting me. So I will see you soon. Rod, Bridget, Rachel, thank you so much. We'll see you guys again soon. Oh, and one last thing. Share this or tag someone who needs it. Appreciate you all.